It's the Rob Carson Show. Are you ready to be pod-smacked? Now, here's Rob Carson.
Yes, it is the Rob Carson Show, a special edition Friday. We're going to call it Finance Friday. We're talking to investment advisor Chris Butler. He's with the Facebook at Free Market Underground, and he knows a lot about finance and money and all that stuff. Maybe he can figure out how I could make more. Chris, welcome to the show, man. Glad to have you on again.
Thanks, Rob. Good to be here.
Very good. All right, so let's get things started. How are the markets wrapping up this week? I know it was down a little bit, and then it was up a little bit. How is it looking right now?
Looks like we had a big down day on Wednesday, big up day on Thursday, big down day today. So far.
All right, cool. Now, I heard from you the FDA has approved the first pill that can be tracked as it makes its way through the human body. Going to be used to treat schizophrenia, manic episodes, and whatnot. And it has a sensor inside it that records that the medication has been taken. A lot of people are saying, well, this is kind of like 1984 all over again. What are your thoughts about this?
I agree with them. I think that this raises all sorts of privacy concerns, although I do see how it is helpful in tracking mental illness patients, make sure they're taking their drugs. That makes sense. Yeah. The problem is, though, that it is being transmitted to that person's smartphone ostensibly to be shown to a caregiver or government official. Whatever the case may be, somebody has access to the fact that, A, you've got a mental disorder, and B, you're on drugs and you are or are not taking them.
Yeah, and then, Nurse Ratched will be able to tell wherever you are. That's another thing as well.
Exactly.
Kind of a little scary. Right. All right. There's been some talk about White House Economic Council Director Gary Cohn's appearance at the Wall Street Journal-sponsored CEO Council this week. He's asking the attending CEOs if the tax reform bill goes through, do you plan to increase investment, capital investment? What are you going to do with the money, in other words? What do you think they're going to do?
Well, at that meeting, they pretty much said, no, Gary, we're not going to invest in capital. And by the way, that is exactly what this country needs to grow.
Yeah.
However, there is not a whole lot of truth to what the left is saying, which is that we don't get anything. The economy doesn't benefit if the CEOs just buy back their own stock or pay out big dividends, which clearly is what these CEOs want to do. Because, Rob, somebody gets that money. I mean, when they buy their shares back, they're buying them back from me and you. They give us money for the shares, or we get a dividend. Either way, we have more money. We make investment in companies that are investing in capital, or we just consume it. And corporate America then has to increase their capital expenditure to make more stuff for me and you to buy with our more money.
Yeah. That's what I'm kind of afraid of, is that some of these CEOs unscrupulously will bring their capital back here. They will bring their plants back here. They take advantage of this 25% rate versus 35% rate, and then do nothing but pay out massive bonuses to each other.
Well, and that would be a fear of mine, too, and it is a fear of mine. But I do trust that competition will keep these guys from doing that. I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to do what consumers want, and you also have to pay attention to what other people in your business are doing. And if the best way to compete for more and more consumers is to invest in capital, they're going to do that.
Very good. You mentioned earlier they kind of had a roller coaster with regard to the stock market finishing down a little bit. And if you're looking at how much the stock market, has grown, the Dow Jones is up, 25% since Donald Trump was elected, right?
Right.
So obviously it is overvalued, and there might be a correction. Do you expect that before the end of the fourth quarter?
Well, it could certainly happen at any time. In fact, some of the market action here over the last week is making people nervous. But, as long as the economy itself is doing okay, even if we were to have something of a correction, it wouldn't necessarily be devastating or long-lived. What concerns me more, Rob, is how the economy is doing, because the economy is what is going to support some of these lofty valuations. And right now, it does look like the economy is doing reasonably well.
I think we're in for a fourth quarter that we have not seen in many years. I don't believe Obama had, I don't even think his average growth rate was 1.8% maybe over the 8 years. I might have been less than that. We've had 3/4 of 3% growth in the GDP, and I have a feeling it's going to be out the ballpark in this fourth quarter. I just think it is, man. I think it is.
It could very well be. In fact, the Atlanta Fed tries to estimate GDP real time. And so even though we're in the middle of the fourth quarter, the Atlanta Fed is saying that they are expecting over 4% GDP in the fourth quarter, which would, of course, be one of the best first years of a president in terms of GDP growth that we've seen a long, long time.
Well, I think we made a bet on this. I don't know what it was. It was a bag of these Dots pretzels.
Dots pretzels.
That'd be 4%. I say it's going to be 4%. Hey, the CEO of General Motors, Bob Lutz, is saying that, and he wrote an essay for Automotive News saying that basically human-driven vehicles will be legislated off the road in 15 to 20 years. And I figured this was going to happen because insurance companies and all this, they're not going to want to have, human drivers who are prone to mistakes more than cars driven by artificial intelligence. So tell me about that.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, too, is that Bob Lutz is talking mainly about highways. And it won't work if humans and non-human driven cars are on the same highway. You almost have to have one car communicating with the other car. I mean, that's how you get traffic accidents down. That's what the insurance companies want. To get that to happen, you almost have to outlaw human-driven cars on the highway. Yeah. Where I think this thing ends, though, Rob, is in city streets. I don't think driver-driven cars are a thing of the past. I don't think they will be for quite some time.
Yeah, they said that about horseless buggies and horses
right.
A long time ago too.
Right.
By the way,
yes, they did.
Elon Musk unveiled an electric tractor trailer today.
Yeah.
Did you see that? That's pretty cool.
Yes, I did. It is cool, and it's really expensive, and
yes.
it's really expensive to operate. I mean, at some point, you're going to have to all technology at some point has to make the case that it is going to be a more efficient way to do things.
Yeah.
Right now, I see in the autonomous cars, we haven't quite gotten there yet. Now, a lot of people smarter than me think we're getting there pretty quick, but I don't think we've gotten there yet.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, as far as the tractor trailer is concerned, it's funny. You got a lot of people saying, we don't want to burn fossil fuels, but guess what? That truck most of the time will be powered by coal-fired electrical plants. That's just
right.
That's just the way it is.
Yes,
that's just the way it is.
That is the story on electric cars, and you have to wonder, Rob, how many Greens recognize that? I would say not many.
One of the we had the tax proposal passed through Congress this week through the House of Representatives. Republicans got that passed through, and one of the parts of it is getting rid of or lowering the estate tax, the death tax. And and I got to tell you, this is a horrific, awful tax. You've got a country that overregulates. You've got a company that has already taxed you on this income, and when you die, it is their lottery. I've always had a problem with this, that your life's work should go to the damned government and not to your heirs. What do you think about it?
Right. Well, I agree, and I think that part of the reason more and more people are agreeing with us is the fact that typically when people die and they have to pay an estate tax, or in the past, what they've seen is that these families then have to sell a family business or a family farm to be able to pay for the tax. That's causing incredible hardship. Not only is it incredibly hard to do that from a financial perspective, but think of emotionally having to get rid of a family business or a family farm that might have been in the family for 100 years, getting rid of it simply to pay a death tax.
Yeah.
I think that's more and more why people are trying to get rid of this thing.
I think they should. It's ridiculous. You've already been taxed on it. You've already been taxed your entire life on your life's work, multiple times. Thank you very much.
That's right.
You had mentioned to me that we are being misled when it comes to inflation. A lot of people thinking that the inflation rate, only about 2% per annum. It's higher than that, I guess, right?
It is, but it goes to the fact that we've changed the way we calculate inflation over the last 30 years, 40 years. And if we were to calculate inflation using the same method today that we did in 1990, inflation wouldn't be 2%. It'd be just about 6%.
Wow.
On the other hand, if we used the same method that we used in 1980, this is going to throw some people off, but it is true. Inflation would not be 2%; it would be 10%.
Jeez. Well,
Yeah.
I've noticed, and my wife pays the bill, so she would know more about this than I do. I notice things, when I go to the grocery store, I do all the shopping. Food's still pretty cheap in this country. Food is still pretty cheap in this country. We're very fortunate, and I'm a goofy bargain shopper. I know that on Thursdays and Sundays that the deli section with pizzas at Walmart will be half price. I know that, Chris. Isn't that sick? I know that if I go to
It is a little sick. You're right.
If I go to Hen House Grocery before 7 o'clock in the morning, I know that the sandwiches and some dairy products are going to be half price, and the best time to go is Sunday morning. I know this, Chris. I'm a grown man. I'm a father of 2 children. What the hell is wrong with me, Chris?
With a problem. You are a grown man with a problem.
I am a grown man with a problem. Well, you are not. You keep me grounded. Thank you for joining me. For those who would like to check out your investment company, where can they find you on the web, my brother?
BLW is in Butler, Lands, Wagler, BLWinvestments.com. Plus, they can go to Facebook at Free Market Underground. All
right, Chris. Have a glorious weekend, my friend. We'll talk next week.
That sounds great, Rob. Thank you.
You bet. Talk to you later on there, Chris. Chris Butler. He's a hell of a guy. He knows exactly what he's talking about. Before I go today on this Finance Friday, I want to mention, this sponsor, Dot's Homestyle Pretzels, which are absolutely the best pretzels you've ever had in your entire life. I've got some right here. They're getting ready to launch a manufacturing and distribution facility in Phoenix, Arizona. They are glorious. They're the best pretzels you've ever had. You'll eat them. You'll eat this entire bag. They're incredible. They got snack-sized bags. They got the big-sized bags, the whole deal. They're honestly, they're flavorful, a little spicy, and wonderful. They're an up-and-comer. They're going to open 4 manufacturing and distributing companies plants around the country very soon. Also, the swag line. Let's not forget the swag line. Right up here, you see it. These are some of our great designs. Right now, you can get it at teepublic.com/user/conservatees. Okay? I've got about 65 designs up, and they're politically incorrect and awesome. They are also going to be at LibertyOneTV.com, in their store. We're going to have a special place on the Liberty One TV page, their store, and it's going to say Conservatees, the Rob Carson collection. Yeah, my first clothing collection. So make sure to check that out. In the meantime, also become a member of teepublic.com. It's only 10 cents or 33 cents a day, $10 a month, and $99 for a year. Okay, we greatly appreciate it. In the meantime, have a glorious last weekend before the holiday season, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks for listening to The Rob Carson Show. Friend him on Facebook at Carson Show, on Twitter at Rob Carson, and on Instagram, I think Facebook and Twitter are enough for now. We'll see you soon.